What is going on? What is going on, man? Another day, another 10 cent. You already know what it is. You know what it ain't. I'm your. You already know who the fuck I am, man. Hey, man. Shout out to everybody at Plantation, making it do what it do. I give much power and respect to you. Shout out to everybody out there that is handling business and researching and doing what they need to do. Yeah, man, I'm already reading this other book about Patty Cannon. Very, very good book. Got a lot of shit to discuss within a short crunch. I'm not going to be on long. I'm trying to condense these podcasts to about not even 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Just do it in 15-minute increments. But anyway, man, shout out to everybody out there, man. If you're loving and living life, if you're not dry snitching and being a mammy Sambo coon, telling about the gun line, Steven from Django, hey, whichever motherfucker, then I fuck with you. If you're not doing that, I don't give a fuck how many motherfucking niggas you hang around, but if you tell it on everybody, then I can't get with that either. As hard as it is for niggas in a system of racism, white supremacy, we don't have time for the bullshit. So we gonna get into it. We gonna talk about some things. We gonna discuss some things, but this is not gonna be your traditional, podcast that I normally bring. I don't even know what the fuck this is. Just not getting all ones, but do that. I'm just looking on Twitter because I be on Twitter. But yeah, man, this ain't gonna be the traditional. We gonna get into some other shit. We gonna get into it right now, man. Hey, shout out to everybody. Shawnee, I got your message. Shout out to the homegirl, Shawnee. Man. She's always educating a nigga with books and shit like that. So shout out to Shawnee, Tasha, everybody out there, Erica, my brother Dave from No Compromise. I'm about to hurry up and get up out of here and see if my brother wants to do a Twitter Spaces. And I'm trying to get the sister Erica on there, or maybe Shawnee, or somebody on there, man, to do the Twitter Spaces with us, man, just to get a female perspective. But hey, man, we about to jump into it right now, man, because we about to get this shit popping right now. Let's get it. Cut the clown ass shit down. Man. The topic of the show, not just the topic, man, wasting time. I think about that a lot. You waste time. You waste a lot of time working countless hours, devoting all your time, your energy to the corporate plantation for them to give you nickels and dimes back to keep you in the rat race. I was having this conversation with one of the homies I was having a conversation with. I always do. Some of my peoples, and I just was like, you should start caring when other people care. Don't care more about other people's shit than you do about your own shit. Always put yourself first and care about yourself first, and fuck what everybody else got to say, and don't let people come around wasting time. You know what I mean? If you're gonna waste your own time, don't let nobody else waste your time, and don't allow people to play games with your time. Your time should be precious. The reason why I'm saying wasting time is because when you see all this violence, I saw this thing on Twitter where this kid, he was like 10 years old, and these policemen was hemming him up like he was a grown man. And the brother was like, hey, man, why y'all grabbing him up like he grown, man? He a kid. Y'all should be calling his parents instead of if he stole somebody else's house. Yeah, but I wouldn't be grabbing him up like that. He's 11 years old. He's 10 years old. And it's like, I feel like we waste so much time on infinite shit that's bullshit that we're not even focusing on what matters most. Because we waste so much time on illicit, toxic bullshit on the internet and on Instagram and on all this other stuff. That's why I'm not really on Instagram like that. I'm more on Twitter because the majority of the people that I follow on Twitter, man, for the most part, man, everybody always has something to say. I may follow a few celebrities, but I'm not celebrity driven. Because I don't give a fuck about being famous, man. I give a fuck about generational wealth. And I feel like we're wasting a lot of time with things that don't matter. And I feel like you need to start having more intrinsic value in you. So if you getting a nice car makes you feel good, then motherfucker, then go do that. You know what I mean? We have to start taking a different approach and stop allowing other people to waste our time and dictate the pace for who the fuck we are and set the narratives for us. And the reason why I say that is because I just noticed we spend a lot of time on fugazi bullshit that doesn't matter. I can always speak to Shout out to my brother David from No Compromise. He knows we always had this conversation about the corporate plantation. And the one thing out of many that I've learned is we have been trained to waste a lot of time at these corporate plantations and not go get a trade and not go get something that'll benefit you and your family around you in the future. You know what I'm saying? And we don't do that anymore. We just wake up and we do it, and it can be depressing. I can only tell you about this shit do get depressing. When you at the corporate plantation, sometimes you get depressed. You kind of like, damn, man, what the fuck is this shit? And then this is just me. I start to look at, my family. I look at my moms. I look at my pops, and I'm not too thrilled about what the fuck is going on. Moms has passed away, but we did have these conversations before, and I don't talk about it as much, but I can talk about it. And I just voiced my displeasure with my mother when I got older, about a year or two, maybe 3 years before she passed away. I just was not very pleased with, the lack of preparation, and you just can't be having kids and bringing people into these United States of America Incorporated, dealing with the system of racism and white supremacy, and we're not being armed with economic power mentally. We're not knowing what the fuck is going on, and we just walk around here with our eyes closed. I can only share my perspective, and I'm just, you get to that point where you like, this is some bullshit. I had this conversation a lot with my melanated people, because that's a commonality there. The dominant society and other racial groups, they go through it too. I'm not saying that they don't, but that's one of our commonalities is, information not being passed down. And I felt like when you are misinformed, you will become one of those time-wasting mechanisms that they love at the corporate plantations, because they know you're going to be there for forever and a day. They know you're never going to go nowhere, and you're never going to think outside the box. And that's where I have just a lot of discrepancies, because you start to notice that as you get older. You know what I mean? I don't blame people that want nice things and, they want new things and they not really with all that, settling for whatever. I don't blame people. I have a different understanding as I'm older now too. Like, no wonder motherfuckers, it's one of those things where they tell you get what you can afford, but if you really want something, you'll make ways to learn how to afford it. And I've learned not to, as I got older, I don't worry about what the fuck motherfuckers spend on their shit. I'm only worried about what the fuck I spend and what I want to do. And you only have this one life. You only have this one body. And if you're wasting your time under the guise of go work a corporate plantation job for 40 years, that shit is depressing. I had this conversation with the homeboy G, man. Me and my Guatemalan homeboy, we had this conversation a lot. Cause he did the most remarkable thing. That nigga was like, nah, fuck that. I'm about to go get a trade. And I should have, in the first words he said that came out of his mouth was, man, Warren, I should have did this shit a long time ago. Because these corporate plantations will use and abuse you. They don't give a fuck, you a number, and you replaceable in the next 5 minutes. And after you kind of realize that, you like, that's why I'm starting to just really, really brainstorm, and I got to get back up on my vision board and start writing things down, that I want to accomplish and what I want to do. Because you get away from that, man, because you see, this is the thing about black folk, I know, yeah, you can go see a therapist. I'm not going to see no motherfucking therapist. Motherfucker like, oh, Warren, nah, nigga, I don't need to do all that. Maybe when the time, but I'm not doing all that. What I'm going to do right now this is my therapy. Talking to my brother David from No Compromise, that's my therapy. Watching this podcast, even though Nick can't leave a comment, because I don't know, you know how YouTube is. Doing this podcast, doing Twitter spaces with my brother David, asking questions. Shit, hell. Doing them Twitter spaces with my brother David, man, that's really been monumental to me, man, because I get a chance to go back when I upload it on YouTube and I listen, and the brother's spitting facts, and I'm like, man, this is great. You know what I'm saying? That's my therapy. You know what I mean? I'm not dissing nobody that don't want to go, you want to go and sit down and discuss stuff with people, man. Hey, I ain't mad at you, but, working at the corporate plantation, we have to have each other's back. In life, we have to have each other's back. And sometimes it's about talking and communicating. Stop trying to be in competition. I mean this with all the sincerity in my heart. When you see somebody with something nice, stop worrying about how he got it. Worry about how that could inspire you. If you're lazy, call yourself out before somebody else calls you out. Because that's what be the most, I feel like the most prevalent thing. You know, if you know you're lacking, like, you know, work ethic or hustle or whatever you need to do, don't let nobody else call you on that. That's stuff that you know you got to work on, like me. That's why I try to be consistent. I've done this podcast when I've been sick. I've done this podcast when I've had the motherfucking the COVID-19. I've done it. You motherfuckers ain't even know. I've done it when I ain't wanted to do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I've done it where I'm like, damn, man. But then let me tell you something. This is how I know I'm not wasting time. When you get messages from the homie Shawnee, like, man, we appreciate it. And that's what, I don't give a fuck about no motherfucking followers. Nigga, I got a video from fucking 10 years ago that's got 90,000 views from a fucking 45-second clip or a 1 minute clip. Me, Warren just being silly. So I don't give a fuck about that shit. But when you're melanated in the United States of America Incorporated, or let's break it down, when you're native black or foundational black Americans in the United States of America Incorporated, there's a certain trauma that comes with that. And there's a certain mental block that you have because you've been conditioned you're not supposed to have nice things. Not only have you been conditioned by the dominant society, but you've been conditioned by your own people. You've been conditioned, we got to be within the budget. You've been conditioned and socially engineered, go to school so you get you a good job, you know, and do all these things because these are the things that are important. When really, ain't nothing wrong with going to school. Ain't nothing wrong with getting your education. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's something definitely wrong with ingratiating yourself in this fucking rat race where you gotta go get a fucking master's degree and you'll be working right next to me with no fucking degree. This is what I don't understand, and this is why I wish more of us were going to go get trades. This is the thing that I had these discussions with my mother before she passed away. Like, I should be doing a trade. I shouldn't be having to work at no motherfucking corn plantation for no 30 years and hopefully the 401k and the stock do something. No, that should be in addition to me having a trade and doing what the fuck I need to do. You know, every parents get their report card. And let me tell you, you don't want me to grade you. Cause I'm a motherfucker. And and let me tell you, my motherfucking grades are not nice. And I'm gonna go fine tooth comb. Now everybody can't handle that. And I'm talking about with your parents. Yeah, you know, I'm talking about your blood mother and your blood father. Not substitutes that had to substitute and help raise you. I'm talking about the people that created you. The gods that created you and gave you life. That's who the report card goes to, ultimately. Because they're the ones that were the controllers of your narrative. And that was the one thing that I had to do. Like, I used to have conversations with my moms and be like, man, you just didn't really do a great job, man. And you didn't really, like, come on, man. You know, because in this world, it's cold. And it ain't fun watching a whole bunch of people have generational wealth and all this other shit. Now you got to go do it. Trust me. It is very depressing. I have these conversations with my peoples at the corn plantation all the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? And I tell them, you know, because a lot of times they shocked. Like, damn, well, I didn't even know you felt like that. I said, nigga, once I read Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson, I was pissed off. Because I was like, damn, man, my people's built this country and you got me out here making me feel like I'm lazy and I got to go damn near have a heart attack on the job for y'all to feel like I'm a good worker. Man, fuck y'all. And that's when I started being very resentful towards the whole system and the whole process. And as I did more digging and more reading, I'm like, man, y'all motherfuckers been getting over. Then when I came across motherfucking Martha Washington, 17,500 acres of land, I knew my blood pressure was high because I was pissed. Nigga, it's like $3 million, $4 million to get an acre of land out here in Vegas. And nigga, this bitch had 17,500 acres of land. And then I did a Spaces with my brother Afro Elite. And it's another brother, I forgot his name, and he was telling me how in Delaware he just saw the owner of the Baltimore Ravens buy like 16 acres of land from the Martha Washington estate for like $60 million. This is the shit that I'm talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying there wasn't no wealthy black folk and people that was handling business and people to do people. But it's like, even in this book I'm reading, I read this book already. I suggest y'all go read it, man. And I normally don't like to read slave books, but I got to know my history. It's my gut. I feel like the ancestors have just been telling me, you need to start reading this shit. So I just been really reading a lot of like antebellum period books just so I can know my history here. Before I go learn world history, I gotta learn the history here in this motherfucker. So, you know what I'm saying? I got another book I'm gonna order, but I just finished this book. These 5 kids got kidnapped, and guess who was kidnapping them? Niggas. Because that's how, like, I suggest, look, this is not about you agreeing with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. This is about you just sitting down and listening to what the fuck this man is saying. And the shit that he is saying is some real shit. When he's like, these people are the most wicked, evil motherfuckers ever. One day, I'm probably just going to play snippets of it. And the nigga just going off. I'll probably play it. Hopefully I don't get no strike. But, man, this nigga was saying so much real shit. And he was just talking about how they have motherfuckers going to war, black people, white people, just so they can get more money, to send us to die. And he was just like, he just was saying some real shit. And when I heard that shit, I was so mad because I was like, he right. Like, man, what the fuck is this shit? That's why when I watch on Instagram, so many people are so celebrity driven. Look at how they create these hierarchy of needs. But do y'all see Jeff Bezos on Facebook and on Instagram? Nope. You don't see none of these real wealthy motherfuckers on none of these social media platforms at all. Do you see them giving up the tricks of the trade? No. But we love to be on there and chase celebrity and don't understand that celebrities got issues too. That's why I don't really, I like to just be in my lane, be focused on what I need to be focused on, because you'll catch yourself wasting a lot of time. Even at the court plantation. If you're not mad, you black in the United States of America Incorporated, and you happy, you're supposed to be thankful that you have a job so you can provide for your family. But that does not necessarily mean you have to be happy and walk around being a grinning nigga. And no, you can be thankful for your job and still understand, like, this is still fucked up. My people's built the country, and now I gotta accept whatever wage these people give me. I gotta smile and grin, and if they don't like what I'm saying or what I'm doing, they have the right, they have the power to manipulate the situation to their liking based on how they feel about me. And then you want to say that it ain't no, that's not racism? Nigga, racism is not calling me a nigga. Racism is redlining, gentrification. Racism is, fuck this nigga, I'm about to fire him because I don't like him because he's fucking black. Or I don't like his attitude. That's racism. Racism is, I'm not going to sell you this house. Racism is, I'm not going to give you this home loan or this business loan. That's what racism is. And I feel like we waste a lot of time arguing and fighting about shit that don't fucking matter. If you don't agree with the FBA movement, or you don't agree with the Native Black movement, or, just everybody stick to their own lane. I feel like we so busy trying to convince us to come to whatever our belief system is. No. Nigga, be like Nas and borrow from everybody. And and what I mean borrow, I don't mean choose everybody's side who you're around. I mean just borrow. Okay, you got the Moorish Science Temple, got that knowledge, let me borrow from the Moorish Science Temple. Okay, the Hebrew Israelites, they got some shit popping, let me borrow from them. Okay, woo, you got some shit popping, boom. If it's a black Christian, but they dropping out, let me borrow from them. It does not mean, okay, well, let's just sit here and waste time. Why niggas still getting shot and killed by race soldiers. So that's what I'm saying, man. Stop wasting time and don't let people around you that's time wasters, man. And have discernment and understand when you're dealing with the court plantation in this system, don't show no emotion with these people because they don't care. And don't get to telling them nothing. And don't be telling them shit thinking that that's going to somehow, some way make them feel sorry for you. You are black in the system of racism and white supremacy. The majority of the dominant society that govern and rule these corporate plantations are a part of the system of racism and white supremacy. Trust me when I say that. They're not your friend. If they are, trust me, if they really your friends and they really gaming you up, they pulling you to the side and they telling you what the fuck it is. As Dr. Francis Cress Welsing says, they're telling you what is being said when you're not in the room. That's it, man. That's my time. You already know what the fuck it is. Y'all know what it ain't. I'm out. Guilty, nigga.